Welcome to this explainer. Now, take a second and just let the weight of that title really sink in. The architecture of digital deception. I mean, we spend hours every single day existing in these digital spaces, right? We navigate apps, we're scrolling down infinite feeds, clicking from page to page. But how often do we actually stop to deconstruct the habitats we're literally living inside? Today, we're going to unpack a super profound concept drawn directly from our source material that absolutely challenges the very nature of our online reality. Okay, let's dive into this because this is absolutely the fundamental question we have to start with. Is your digital world real? When you log on to your favorite platform or, open up a new app, is that space neutral? Is it just some blank canvas giving you organic info? We definitely tend to think of the internet as this vast open landscape, like a natural phenomenon we just happen to be exploring. But what if the spaces you're clicking and scrolling through every day aren't organic at all? What if every single pixel, every notification, and every feed is part of a highly calculated structure? Section 1. The digital architecture, a built environment. And we're going to treat that word architecture quite literally here, as a blueprint that's intentionally meant to deceive. Architecture, a constructed, deliberate structural environment. To really get this, think about a physical building. An architect places doors, hallways, and windows very specifically to guide your physical body. Well, in the digital world, the architecture is designed to guide your attention. It's not some naturally occurring phenomenon. It didn't just grow this way by accident. Every single aspect of it has been deliberately designed by tech companies. When you get that sudden urge to keep pulling down to refresh, or when an app just autoplays the next video before you can even blink, you're literally bumping up against the invisible walls and hallways of a constructed environment. And this brilliantly illustrates exactly what we're talking about today. See, we as users, we naively assume we're getting honest design. We just assume the layout is neutral, that the buttons are there simply to help us do what we want, and that the interface exists to serve us. But the reality laid out in our source material, it's digital deception. The design isn't there to honestly facilitate your desires. It's quietly maneuvering you into fulfilling the overarching goals of the architect. Actually, scratch that. I want to slow down right here, because this is a concept that really needs to fully sink in. It is not an accident. It is a blueprint. Think about when an app uses what's called a roach motel design. You know the one, where it's incredibly easy to subscribe but almost impossible to figure out how to cancel. Or when a notification is colored that exact specific shade of red just to create a sudden spike of anxiety that forces you to click. None of these are mistakes. They aren't glitches. They are highly functional, perfectly executed structural choices called dark patterns. The friction you feel or the seamlessness you experience. That was drafted on a blueprint long before you ever downloaded the software. All right, let's pick up the pace a bit and move into Section 2, Defining Deception. So what is the actual nature of this building? It really comes down to understanding the malicious intent behind that blueprint. So the crucial point is how tech companies lie to you. That is the exact unvarnished phrase straight from our source material. There's no sugarcoating it. No corporate jargon about, optimizing user engagement or synergizing retention metrics. The architecture is fundamentally built on a foundation of falsehood. The whole premise is that these structures, built by tech companies, completely rely on misleading you.
It's the active choice to deceive. And honestly, there's a fascinating, kind of painful irony in all of this. Just think about the devices we use to access this architecture. We spend hundreds, sometimes literally thousands of dollars on these perfectly engineered, flawless pieces of shiny glass and smooth metal. We place a huge amount of implicit trust in these premium objects. Yet the overarching structural goal of the software running on those pristine devices is quite literally to lie to us. The physical hardware is honest, but the digital architecture, totally deceptive.
Which leads us to our final section, Section 3, How They Lie to You. And I want to point out right now, the most important word in that whole thesis is you. Let's move to and see how this builds. It's a clear flow. Step 1. The architecture is built. Those invisible walls and pathways get coded. Step 2. The digital deception is deployed. The specific mechanisms, the infinite scrolls, the hidden opt-outs, the manufactured urgency, all of that gets activated. And finally, Step 3. Tech companies lie to you. The deception lands. It moves directly from a structural design into user manipulation. It goes straight from a blueprint on some developer's desk right into your daily psychology. You are the target of the architecture. And this is exactly why this matters so much. The most important word here isn't tech, and it definitely isn't companies. It's you. Every single element we've deconstructed in this explainer, the deliberate structures, the carefully crafted illusions, the active choices to mislead, they exist for one singular purpose: to influence, to direct, to capture your attention, and ultimately to deceive you into behaving exactly how those tech companies want you to behave. Once you see the strings, well, it becomes a whole lot harder to be the puppet, doesn't it? We've looked at the blueprint. We've seen that the digital spaces we inhabit are constructed with the explicit intent of digital deception. The illusion only works if you actually believe the environment is natural. But now that you see the architecture, will you still fall for the lie? I really want to leave you with that thought to challenge how you interact with your screens today. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and remember to keep questioning the structures around you.